bringing no excuses, okay? So are we ready for the mastermind? Alrighty, so please get on your feet for Mr. Jay Dahliwal.
Thanks, Eric. Hope you had a chance to hit the restrooms and get some water and whatnot. You know, we're messing with the screen, and some people are saying, you know what, can you flip it around and make the camera bigger and make the presentation smaller? That'd be all great for the people that are streaming, but really bad for you guys. Yeah. So let's just keep it the way it is. And all those amazing people streaming from home, squint. Do this. It works. So the first time that I did mastermind training, it's going to be a condensed version because, you know, I was really long in the first part. It was a couple of years ago on a really cold day in Montreal. It was so cold. And there was so much snow. Remember? Who was there? Oh, there's a bunch of us there. He's got the book still. Yeah, you're all there. It was amazing. And so what I'm going to share with you is it's really a compendium, a concentrated expression of how I view my outlook on life and how I think people can try to put a lens on where they are and where they want to go from personal development, their outlook on life, and really help them focus or help them identify things perhaps that are holding them back, right? Is this the final thing? No, not at all. There's so many different ways to self-actualization, right? This is what works for me, right? Everything that I'm going to share with you is something that I've lived through that helped me realize where I am and where I wanted to go, right? And it's really focused around, first of all, understanding ourselves, where we are today from an economic standpoint, and then developing on that and the different things that we can implement in our lives to get out of our own way. Because 99% of the time, we're in our own way between us and our dreams. And we're not even consciously aware of it. So we're going to do a little bit of introspection, a little bit of exercise, and just a different lens on how we can do that, right? So there's a pretty big, long list of the things we're going to cover. We might not get through everything, but I'm going to try. So we all hear about mindset training. Like, what's mindset? Mindset is just how we view the world, right? Half full, half empty, silver lining, right? All that stuff. But I believe that there's a real checklist approach to finding it out. And I think we have to always evaluate where we are and what we're trying to do. Because like I said before in the earlier thing, you can't improve anything you can't measure. If you don't know where you are, you guys ever use Google Maps for directions? You got to put current location and destination in, right? Because if you put just a destination in and no location, it doesn't tell you where you got to go. Because you're not letting the system know, whatever it is, that where you are, right? So that involves some assessment, right? So the first thing that when it comes to working on the economic model with whether it's Super Patch or anything else that you're chasing on an economic level, you have to clearly articulate hunger to improve your financial status. And you have to be able to define it, what you want and why you want it. Clearly. The more precisely and clearly you can articulate it, it will give you a better assessment of where you are. And the word hunger, it's overused. Oh, you got to be hungry, right? Like Rocky. But I tell you, Rocky wasn't hungry. Rocky was starving. Because we live in Canada, and some of us live in the United States, and some of us live in Europe, in the Western world. You know what we're not? We're not starving. We have a social system that makes sure that we don't starve to death. We agree? For the most part, not everyone, I understand, for the most part, there's very few people in North America, and I understand Mexico's part of North America too, but Canada, the United States, and Britain, and the UK, and France, and Germany, very few people are starving to death. They're not dying of hunger, that's for sure, right? But think about it. We wake up every morning, we have some breakfast. A few hours later, we have some lunch. Got a little bit hungry, we have some lunch, right? We might even have a snack in between. Then between lunch and dinner, we might have another snack, and then we have supper or dinner again, and we eat again. So every time we're hungry, we eat something. And the next morning, we're hungry again, and we do it again. So guess what's not getting satiated? Because hunger isn't a thing anymore. Right? Now imagine you hadn't eaten anything for 4 days, or 5 days, or 6 days, or 10 days, or a week. Would you have a different relationship with food and nourishment? Right? If you didn't know where the next meal was going to come from, if you didn't know where your children were going to get their next meal, would you have a different relationship with food and financial resources? Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to be starving. Hunger is easy to satiate. Starvation is a different mindset. Because I see you're amazing people. But if your children or your grandchildren were hungry, there isn't anything you wouldn't do. Am I right? If you want to change your economic position in life, you got to have that same mindset. Because it's hard. If you take a look at the top 5% of income earners in the world, only 20% of the top 5% come from the bottom 60%. Okay? To break out of the bottom 60%, there's only a 1 in 5 chance that we or our children will get out of it if that's where they are. So what does that mean? It needs a conscious effort to know where you are and clearly articulate why you want to get out. So when I meet people that have children or grandchildren, I know their why. Because I think we're all the same. How many of us have children? I know what your why is. It's not complicated, right? If you have children or grandchildren, put your hand up if they're your priority in life. That's who you want the best. Yeah, see, they're all the same. The same. That's most people. And if you don't have children, this is another thing. If you don't have children, this is even more important. Because you know who's responsible for your economic well-being? You. You. No one else. Because the government programs that are out there provide let me say it in a nice way. They give you too much to die on and not enough to live on. It's like life support. Who wants to be on life support? That's not living, right? We got to get to living. We talked about this on Monday Night Call. You have a birthright. You have a natural right. The fact you exist, you have a life. You're entitled to a life of abundance, right? But you got to get to it. And what it takes is you got to check your mind. Where are you at? What do you believe? What don't you believe? And you got to be coachable. Because if you're not coachable, I can't help you. No one can help you. How many of you guys play team sports? Every team, there's one person uncoachable. Remember that person? Right? won't pass the ball. Never pass the ball. Uncoachable. So the play said left, they went right. The coach said pass, they kicked the ball. Uncoachable. We got to be coachable. We got to have a humble student mentality that we have much to learn and much to execute. Oops, hold on, let me go back. Yeah. Right? But we need to talk about the thing that impacts every aspect of our life. We got to be able to talk about money. Right? As I said, hunger is not enough. You need to be starving. So where are you on your financial status, right? And this is an exercise that I do with people I mentor, people that I coach, people on my executive team. Because unless we know where we are ourselves, and if we're working as a team, you need to know where your team's at, right? What are their goals? What are their dreams? What are their hopes, right? Because there's 3 stages. There's survival mode. 66% of the people are in survival mode. When you don't have $500 emergency fund, survival mode. Car breaks down, can't get it fixed, survival mode. You're sick, but you got to go to work because you can't afford time off, survival mode. Rent is due next week, not enough in the bank, survival mode. That's 2/3 of the people that live on our continent. How do we get here? Long story. Can't fix the past, but we can certainly work on our future. So what does it take to get out of survival mode? Overwork is required. What does overwork mean? That you got to do more than you get paid for. You got to do more than you get paid for. This is true also in the corporate world. When you go to the corporate world, even if you're a lawyer, you start as a junior associate, you get all the crap. You got to work 100 hours a week for the lowest pay. And you're going to be there a while. Overwork, overwork, overwork. More work. Right? It's true in everything. Massive effort is required. And it seems like you're underpaid for your effort. This is why majority of people in the bottom 60% of income never get out. Because they won't accept the overwork. They won't accept the massive effort that's required. And they're not willing to accept to be underpaid for the effort that's needed. Whose fault that is? No one's fault. That's just the way that it is. It's not just true in economics, it's true in sports. It's true in athletics. If it takes XYZ to be a professional athlete, and I've never worked out in my life, there's some overwork required to even start thinking about that as a reality. And this is and the sad part is this. In this industry called network marketing, no one wants to talk about the overwork. They want to tell you, oh, you're in survival mode, you got to get out. No one says, oh, by the way, you're going to have to work a long time, really hard with maximum effort, and it's going to seem like you're not getting paid enough, that it's going to take time. Listen, I have magic patches, but I don't have a magic solution for this. The overwork is required. Whether you do it here or you do it anywhere else. You want to change your trajectory? Listen, I come from a family of immigrants. There was no multinational business. Overwork was the DNA. Dad worked at the steel factory 16 hours a day. Mom worked as a seamstress. Overwork. Why? Because you want more. You want better. Right? And this is the test. This is the test. Most people fail. Most people fail. So this is the hardest part of the whole talk today. Most people fail. My friend Terry's here, had a family business. How many years, Terry? 2 decades? 2.5 decades? 45 years, 4.5 decades. Terry knows about overwork and underpaid, right? And at times Your dad put the house up 3, 4, 5 times? 100%. Why? Had to be done. If you're comfortable with overwork for your dream, that's the first realization you have to make. Because if we're not, this is not going to happen, right? And then finally, out of survival, then you get to a little bit of status. What does that mean? The rewards seem equal to the effort. You put some effort in, you get some reward back. It feels really great. So what do things happen? You live in a nicer neighborhood, you drive a nicer car, your kids go to a better school, you start going to nicer restaurants, start taking vacations. It's very important that you actually enjoy the status you achieve. Because what do we live for? Because we have to feel it, right? We have to feel the work is worth it. I'm not one to say, hey, deny yourself your Starbucks. People think they're going to get rich by not having Starbucks are fools. If your entire financial future depends on you saving $5 a day, you and I need to talk. It's not going to work. Saving ourselves to financial freedom is long gone. We have to figure out income. I'm telling you straight truths. Straight truths. Okay? So you got rewards of efforts that can be seen and enjoyed. Right? And this is important because people see you before they hear you, right? We agree? So when you walk into a room or you walk into a hall, you see somebody, you're going to make a judgment. How fast? How fast do we make a judgment? Oh, so fast, right? If I showed up today in a ratty suit, ring around the collar, scuffy shoes, you'd be like, that's not real. There's no business. There's no success. This guy's a fraud. You wouldn't have to say it. You'd feel it. You'd feel like the story doesn't match the suit, and the suit doesn't match. Am I right? Why? Because light travels faster than sound. So if we don't show our success, because what is it? Seeing is believing? Seeing is believing, right? Our lives are no different. And when we're entrepreneurs and we're trying to build a dream, we're trying to build some success for ourselves, if we don't show that success, then we're not successful. Why? Perspective. People say perception is everything. Perception is not everything. Perspective is everything. Where are they seeing you from? From what position? Right? It's so important. And when no one talks, because people think, oh, it's not so warm and fuzzy. I'm not here to be warm and fuzzy. I'm here to tell you what's going to work and what's not going to work, right? Coachability. But it can be a danger zone. A lot of people stay here. A lot of people are like, oh, it's like the Jeffersons moving on up. I made it to the penthouse. I'm good. I'm making money. I'm spending money. I'm going to the restaurants. I'm on vacation. Look at my Instagram. Woo. We know those people. Right? We know those. I know those people. Some of them are related to me. They're laughing at the back. Some of them are related to me. And I'm like, oh, that's not going to last. Because they get stuck because they think that's it. Right? But then there's the next level. And that's freedom. Rewards are greater than the effort. This is the senior partner at the law firm who works 10 to 2, never looks at a file, is whining and dying the clients, and makes $5 million a year. Why? He or she's put in 20 years already of the hard work and the overwork and then the status, and now they've built this thing. And now they have a reputation, they have a brand, they have a name, they have a legacy of accomplishment where now they're overpaid, seemingly for the time they put in. They're not trading time for money. Okay? In fact, they have so much freedom, they have financial stability that's been achieved for themselves and their family. Even their family doesn't need to worry about the bills. and there's no more financial panic. I know what financial panic is. I come from lower middle class family. I know what financial panic is. I think most of the world knows what financial panic is at some point in our lives. And when that's gone, it's a different feeling. You actually get to see life being expressed through you. It's like, oh my God, I don't have to worry about the bills. In today's world, I'm going to say a number, don't get scared. Today, right now, financial freedom is at least $5 million liquid. Number, right? Where you don't have to worry about the bills. You don't have to worry about the bills. Your kids don't need to worry about the bills. You can pay for the education. You can pay for your grandchildren's education. Your house is paid for. You got $5 million invested. It's giving you income. That's the number today. Never used to be that much, but it is today, right? Cost of living is high. Net taxes is going to put about $200,000 to $250,000 in your pocket a year. Comfortable. When your house is paid for, you're good. You don't have to worry about the cell phone bill or the TV bill or the Netflix bill or the gas in your car. You're good. But it's a number. Now the goal is, how do you get to that number? How do you get to financial freedom? How do you get to that, right? And once you get that, then something really crazy might come your way. You might find something called purpose. Lucky if you find it. Most don't. And our purpose is somewhere in the story of our life. The purpose that some of us find isn't out there. It's something that's been inside us. There's a seed in there that just never had a chance to grow. Right? But the problem that I have, not that I have, the reality that I see and the problem that I see in this industry is people in survival mode and getting into status mode are talking to me about purpose. Don't talk, do yourself a favor. Don't get stuck on purpose until you take care of the other three. Does that make sense? The biggest philanthropists in the world are all billionaires. You know what they talk about when they're not doing philanthropy? Making more money. It's true. What do you think Elon Musk and Larry Ellison, what do you think they talk about all day? The next $1 billion deal. And they have billions. So if the guys and the women and the men, and they're wealthier than anybody's ever lived, by the way. If they're focused on wealth and accumulating more and building more, why do the rest of us feel bad about it? Because we've been told it's polite not to talk about money. I meet my financial planners and brokers in the city, go for lunch. You know all they talk about? Money. This deal, that deal, the next deal. And they're way past freedom. What's stuck is that we've been conditioned to think about things that are not aligned with our long-term success. Right? We accept nobility in survival. There's no nobility in survival. You're meant for more. You're meant for more. I'm meant for more. The day that I realized I was poor was the day I decided I was not going to die poor. 12 years old. I remember the day. My dad said I couldn't have a new bike, couldn't afford it. I said, This story might have started this way, but this story's not going to end this way. How many of you denied yourself something because you couldn't afford it? Or your children? I know how it feels. Doesn't feel good, right? Then the question is, what are you doing about it? Are you accepting it? If we do nothing about it, we accepted it. We agree? If we do nothing about our circumstance, that means we're okay. We're comfortable. We accept it. Everybody knows the story of the dog on the porch? We know that story? I'll share the story. So there's this traveler. He's walking along this dirt road, He's a little hungry. He's a little tired. Doesn't really have a home. This driveway, he sees an old farmhouse. He's looking for a place to sleep and maybe a meal. So he treks down the dirt road to the house. And on the house is an old man, is a farmer. And he's on a rocking chair. He's rocking back and forth. And right beside him is an old dog. Old dog. He goes, "How you doing, sir?" And he introduces himself. He goes, "I'm just on my way a few towns over, but I'm a little hungry and a little tired." And while he's explaining his situation, the dog's yelping. It's crying. Just letting out little bits of pain. And it keeps going on. He goes, the farmer says, "No problem. You can just sleep in the barn and we'll bring you some food and no problem. And tomorrow you get on your way." And the dog's still crying. And he says to the farmer, he goes, why is your dog crying?" He goes, "Oh, that's because he's sitting on a rusted nail." He goes, "Well, why doesn't he move?" Because he's used to it. He'd rather just cry than get up. Because it's easier to cry, and he's used to crying, and he's used to accepting their circumstance. Most people have been taught, I'm telling you that most people that are in survival mode have been taught that it's okay, that that's where they're supposed to be. I'm telling you that's not where anyone's supposed to be. There is limitless wealth for every single person in the world. Only thing in their way is overwork, massive effort, accepting to be underpaid. That's the thing, right? But it requires honest introspection. We get back to purpose. We got to be honest with ourselves. This is what I want to do. So where does purpose sit? Purpose sits at the intersection of things we love to do and things we're really great at. But we don't have time for the introspection if we're in survival mode. Okay? We don't. The only reason I could do this is because I was financially free at the age of 38. I was financially free at the age of 29. You know, I got there, worked my ass off. Hard work. My first full-time gig or full-time pay, besides the paper route, was at the age of 17. I sold vacuums on the weekend. TriStar vacuums. They're almost $3,000. I get paid $500 every time I sell one. I said, "I'm going to cash. Don't tell the government." I'd make $2,000 to $3,000 working 2 days a week, Saturdays and Sundays, from the age of 17 till the day I graduated from university. I made more money than my parents, and I made more money than my principal, than any teacher that ever taught me. And I couldn't for the life of me to get any of my friends to do what I did. Not in high school, not in university. "Jay, how do you get all this money?" I go, "Do what I do." And then you tell them what you did, they go, "I don't want to do that." They'd rather work at Sears for $4.50 an hour and expect me to pick up the bar tab Thursday nights. Why? Why was I willing to do what they were not willing to do? I was starving. I didn't want to. No, I wanted that IROC. First month, I made $40,000 selling vacuum cleaners. Canary yellow, T-top, black racing stripes. I pulled it in high school like I owned it. 26 days, I made $40,000 cash. 17 years old. I was very popular. And I had hair. These are the things that you do because why? Because I was starving. And I had an opportunity to go do something that I love to do, which was talk to people, help people, show them some exciting stuff, and I got paid. My dad sat me down. He goes, "Are you selling drugs?" I said, "No, Dad, I'm selling vacuums." Because, you know, parents are nosy. Like Indian parents are the nosiest. They go through your drawers. They do everything. They're worst. So judgmental. "Are you selling drugs?" I go, "No, I'm not selling drugs. I'm selling vacuums." He called the local distributor I worked for to make sure that that's what I was doing. True story. No son of his was going to sell drugs. I was supposed to be a doctor. True story, right? And then I went to university. I couldn't get any of my friends to do what I did. Think about that. Here was somebody already at status, making more money than the profs, than the teachers, than anybody else. I was making $150,000 a year cash at the age of 18, 19, 20, 21, working 2 days a week. I'd be done by 2 p.m. It's rhythm of the night, party night, right? Couple grand in your pocket. Listen, in 1988, you know how much money $2,000 a day was? Big money. Lots. But I couldn't get anybody else to do it. Anybody want to guess why nobody would do it? Fear of judgment. What somebody else will say. They condemn themselves to survival mode because of what somebody else would say. And yet they see me, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. And they're like, "Oh, it must be nice." I go, "It's damn nice. I got money, I got girlfriends, I got a car, I got money in the bank, I got hair." Oh, the hair was like, there was a routine on the hair. Let me tell you, there's a whole thing. There's a production. There was a thing. One day I might share pictures. Right? But I couldn't get them to do it. And many of you are in the same boat. There's people that you want to join that won't join you. Why? Because they're afraid of some judgment of somebody that doesn't have any impact on their life. And you can't help them. Only person you can help is who? Yourself. So until you get rid of the fear of judgment, don't expect other people that you're working with to get rid of their fear. Make sense? Okay, good. But once you get to purpose, it's transformative. It's empowering like nothing else. Like, listen, at the age of 38, I'm like, what am I going to do here? And it didn't happen overnight. I was just trying to help my mom. And that thing became this thing over time, over time, over time. Right? But what does it take? Commitment, some time. But you got to commit, right? What kind of levels of commitment? You can chase your dream sometime. You can do this thing we're doing sometime. But just wasting your time and others. We understand? Sometime, it's not a commitment. But some people think, well, I think I do it sometimes. What part of the first 3 steps is sometime? You got to decide and you got to commit. I'm serious. If it's you, or there's people that are working with you who are doing this sometime, would you count on a watch to tell you what time it is that works sometimes and sometimes didn't? People are the same way. How many of you have employees or had employees in the past? There's the one that always randomly doesn't show up for work. How much disruption do they cause in your life? You never know when they're going to show up. So what do? You can't count on them, right? Then there's part-time. Part-time is real. Part-time is real because, great, now it's a consistency. You can quantify it, right? So when I was growing up, a few years ago, the world that I lived in, part-time was 20 hours a week. You guys grew up and say, remember that was part-time? 3 or 4 hours a day, and the weekend, da-da-da. My part-time at the age of 17, I worked 8 hours on the weekend. That was it. 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday, bang out $3,000, $4,000, call it a day. Available. And you know what the funny thing is? You can still do it. Right? So part-time is great, but you got to quantify it, hours and days. So if you yourself, if you're doing this part-time, you got to write down for yourself, how many hours, how many days a week am I going to do this, and what are the things that I'm going to do? Because if you don't quantify it, you know what's going to happen? Sometime. And then there's full-time, right? As Matthew McConaughey says, all right, all right, all right. You want to go big time, you got to go full-time. Let me say it again. If you want to go big time, you got to go full-time. Anybody ever win the race going 50%? Why would this be any different? People setting world records, are they going all the way or half the way? All the way. How often? Every day. Every day, every day. Why? Because they're starving. They know this is it. This is it. This is it. Because what can't you do? You can't change yesterday, right? I can't even change what happened this morning. None of us can. None of us can. But we have the opportunity to change the now and the tomorrow. And something really amazing happens. I'm living proof of this. When I change the now, I change my tomorrow. When my tomorrow changes and aligns with the dream that I have, my past changes because I don't give a shit what happened to me when I was a kid. All the things I didn't have, all the regret, they're all gone because I changed my future. That my past doesn't matter because I don't have any more regrets because I made a change. You know what's a regret? Us living our past. I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. Well, why didn't you do it? Right? But when you do the things you want to do and you chase your dream like you're starving and you get there and you fought and you won, guess what? Does it matter what you didn't have when you were a kid? Does it matter what your parents did or didn't do? Doesn't matter. Because you did it anyways. Because you did it anyways. It didn't matter how you started. It doesn't matter how you start the race. It only matters how you play and how you win at the end. That's all that matters. So you can be a bystander in your life. You can watch your life being played out for you from the stands. Or you can say, you know what, I'm going to grab the ball. I'm going to play. I might get hit. I might get knocked down. I might fumble, whatever it is, but I'm going to play my game. I'm going to carry this ball across the goal line. Because I got news for you. Nobody else is going to do it. I'm not going to do it for you. I'm a nice guy, but I'm not carrying your ball across the goal line for you. Look at the person beside you. Look, they're not carrying your ball across the goal line either. They got their own goal. They got their own ball. They got their own game. They got their own life. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Because what does anybody owe you? Less than that. Less than that. Right? So people talk about this thing called positive mental attitude. Who's heard of PMA? Okay. Positive, and I've been to the Tony Robbins, the Jim Rohns. I've done it all. Years and years and years and years and years of trying to say, how do I change this? You know what I realized? Pretty positive guy. I say, yeah, let's go. I rarely say no to new ideas or new opportunities. Like, okay, let's go. I got new friends that know this. I got old friends that know this. What do you think? Let's go. And not go a little bit. Let's go all the way. All the way so we know that we're going to win. Right? Because I believe in running up the score. I like to win by a lot. Right? Like by a lot. But this happened over time. Right? And the key to a positive mental attitude, the exercise you must do is you must be able to separate fact from fiction. Fact from fiction. You got to identify a positive and previous success. So these are things you got to work on. Because if you're not there, and how do you know you have a positive attitude or not? If something comes your way and the first thing that hits your mind is the risk or what you could lose or what's going to cost you, you're negative. Let me just tell you, you have a negative mindset. You're not positive. If the first response to anything new that comes your way or new person comes your way is like, oh, this sounds amazing. This could be incredible. Oh my God, this is the biggest thing. You pretty much have a positive attitude. But if your first response is, I don't know about this. I'm telling you right now, you're negative. Don't be defensive. Negative attitude is covered by defensiveness. Ever meet defensive people? They say shit like, well, I just want to make sure. I'm a skeptic. No. You're negative. You're negative. You're negative. Real negative. Sorry, that's how it is. Right? And you got to rewrite those limiting beliefs. And this is scientific. And I can show you in a scientific way how these brainwaves work. I've only been studying them for 17 years. 17 years. That's a long time. Med school's 8. 17 years. Engineering was 4. My MBA was 2. Then I worked my ass off for a lifetime. And then I learned this. 17 years. And I'm still learning. Because to do what we're doing, it requires commitment. Right? You have to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is a superpower. It's a superpower. Whether you wanted to change your life or not, it will do it. It's physics. It's not mysticism. It's none of that stuff. It's just physics. You can show it in brain scans. People that are grateful and live in gratitude, they have different biomarkers. They have different brain waves. They have less cortisol. It's crazy how healthy they are. Their inside is different. So it's science. Somebody's phone's ringing. And you have to proactively get rid of negativity. Okay? First in ourselves, in how we process information, the things that we do and the things that we don't do. We got to recognize, you know what, that's pretty negative. Not going to do it. Right? So positive fact or fiction. Separate facts from fiction. This is a critical thinking exercise. Right? Because thoughts are not facts. Let me say it again. Thoughts are not facts. Right? And what are these fictional thoughts? They usually have the words always, never, or worst intertwined in that thought. Oh, this never works out. Never works out. Well, this thing always happens to me. Okay, this is from Tony Robbins, and it's transformative for me. He goes, this is the thing, realize this, whatever is happening to you that is not aligned with your dream or your wish or your hope in that point in time, it's not personal. It's not about you. It's not personal. It's just happening, just the universe. It's not pervasive. It's not everywhere. Not everybody's dealing with that thing. And it's not personal. It's not about you. And third, it's not permanent. Anything you're dealing with at any point in time, it's not personal, it's not pervasive, and it's not permanent. You have to accept that about everything. Whatever it is in that moment. Okay, it is what it is. You can't stop. But whatever that thought is, you got to write it down. And you got to apply critical thinking. I hear people calling me. What is it, today or yesterday? Oh, shipping is always late. I got to write that down. It's a big statement. Shipping's always late. I go, for you? No, I heard that. Right away, they back down. Give me 3 examples. I heard, I go, see, it's not personal. It's not pervasive. It's not permanent, but it's always there. Oh, that never works. Or this all doesn't work like that. You got to write it down and say, is this actually fact? No. Anecdotes are not fact. And what you have to do is when you go through it, you have to label them. This is a thought and this is a fact. And what you realize is the things that you think are holding you back are not real, right? That's the first step to escaping that negative cycle and move towards that positive. Because if we ruminate on the negative thing, this is not working out for me, it never works out for me, this is always the case, we got to write it down and say, this is not real. The sad thing is sometimes people apply those things to themselves, not even their environment. Things never work out for me. Or they say terrible things like, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. I hear people say that. Oh, I just have crappy luck. Yeah, you do. Just said you did. I don't know where they get it from. Right? Don't fall for it. So you got to replace the fiction with facts. So what does fear sound like? Because all that is fear manifesting, right? So fear sounds like this. I don't want to do it. I'll look foolish. Inside, the inside voice, while people don't chase their dreams or don't do the things they want to do, fear of judgment. I'll look like a fool. People think I'm stupid or greedy or both. Number one reason people don't join you on your economic journey or in your business, people will think I'm stupid or greedy or both. Number one reason. Number one reason. I know this for a fact. I couldn't, and I'm pretty good. I'm a great sales guy. I'm a great communicator. I couldn't get anyone in 2 years of high school and 4 years of university to join me to sell vacuums. And the evidence was in front of them. Let that sink in. I made more money than them and their parents combined, but I couldn't convince them to do what I was doing so they could have the things that I had and live the life I was living. Why? Fear of judgment. Well, people think I'm a vacuum sales cleaner. I go, yeah. It's a $1 billion business. $1 billion business. Right? Somebody told them once upon a time, probably their parents, that sales is not for sophisticated, educated people. My dad did. Inside story. I don't tell this to anyone. I wanted to be an artist when I was a kid. Not to brag, but I'm an exceptional portrait drawer and architecture. So I loved it. My parents would ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be an artist. My dad would look at me like I was crazy. Saturday morning cartoons, watching Saturday. This advertising comes on. Starving artists. You remember that? My dad, look. They're begging for money on TV. They're starving. The dream died. Who knows what could have been? Look, it's true. I'm telling you a true story. Artists are starving. You're going to be a doctor. Not like, what do you want to be? You're going to be a doctor. Right? Because it's trained in us, right? That education is your only salvation. Education is very important. Listen, if you don't develop critical learning, you can't develop critical learning skills on your own. I'm going to be very factual on this. It takes work. You have to be taught. You have to work through it. It's a process. So I'm not one to say, education is very important to develop the ability to think and learn. Right? So in our industry, a lot of people say, oh, you don't need education. You need to know how to think. Critical thinking is important. Reading is important. The ability to write and communicate is important. People can't read or write anymore. They put this little special code into text messages. They don't even know what the hell they're saying. And now they've made it even easier. We have ChatGPT. God, they don't even have to do anything. They write like Rembrandt. They think I've approached people before with other ideas and they didn't work. I equip this to somebody that is a really bad baseball pitcher. Didn't develop the skills, didn't do the work. Every time they go on the mound, they throw fat balls and then get taken out of the park. Why? They didn't do what? The overwork. They didn't develop the skills. Okay? If you don't do the hard work to develop the skills over a period of time, you're going to strike out, especially when you're pitching against major league hitters. They're going to smoke you out of that park so hard. It happens in our industry all the time. Somebody joins the business, they're great, they're doing a couple of things, they get a little bit of success. Now they think they're all-star pitcher. No, you're not yet. There is no replacement for developing the skills to do what you need to do to become a star player. That's the overwork. Doesn't matter who you know in the world. I don't care how successful they are. Either they or somebody before them in their family did the overwork. Somebody broke that chain of generational survival mode. Somebody had to do it. In my family, it's me. In your family, it might be you. Or maybe it was your parents, or maybe it was your grandparents. But somebody along the way, because unless you're like royalty, somebody had to wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm rewriting this story. I refuse to accept. I got one life. I'm going to max this thing out. I'm going to live this thing in the brightest colors that I can possibly live. Right? I don't know if it'll work. You don't know if it'll work. It works for a couple million people. I don't know. And this is the best one. I don't know anyone, and I don't know science. You know enough people. Everybody, hold up your phone. Everybody hold up your phone. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what language you speak. I don't care which part of the world you come from. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how rich you are, how poor you are. You have enough people in your phone to make enough money for you to reach freedom. You know enough people already in your phone because as soon as you know them, you know everybody in their phone. Average person has about 1,000 people in their phone. I got about 5,000 people in my phone. There's enough people in your phone for you to reach every economic desire you think you want. It's not you don't need my phone. You already got a phone. So you know enough people. You know enough people. Most people are just afraid that they'll look stupid or greedy or both. That's why they don't reach those people. I don't know how to sell. This is true. If there's a skill you're going to develop, invest in sales skills. If you develop your sales skills enough through overwork, by doing, and it's all free. By the way, sales skills are free. It's called YouTube. Just like fitness is free, it's called YouTube. Just like nutrition is free, it's called YouTube. Just like becoming wealthy is free, it's called YouTube. It's all there, free to have. If you are going to be marketing a product and selling a product, you need to develop the skills in terms of how to present yourself. Why? Because light travels faster than sound. So look like you deserve to be doing what you're doing. When I say deserve, like, do you look like somebody that somebody would want to buy something from or listen to or trust? I'm not here to paint a dream for you that's not real. These are the things that must be done. Ever see a farmer rep go into a doctor's office? How do they look? Like $1 million. They look like $1 million. The men and the women. Why? They're representing $1 billion brand. They're representing $1 billion company. You're representing $1 billion company. If I put this company in the stock market, I get a $4 or $5 billion valuation tomorrow. That's what you're representing. But if you're proud of that, then you got to show that, right? So sales skills are free. They're easy to access. They're on YouTube. And the thing is, there's not one better than another. So that's the other big mission. Oh, this is the one. Doesn't matter. Sales skills are real easy. It's not selling, it's persuasion. It's about helping people find the solution they're looking for. And your job is help them get there. That's it. It's not complicated. But what does it take? Practice. Practice. And none of us are Allen Iverson that we don't need practice. You guys remember that press conference if you're basketball fans? He was just voted the MVP of the NBA. And some reporter says, well, Huck, what about practice? He says, practice? He goes, I'm the MVP of the universe. I don't practice. And guess what happened? He never won a championship. Never won a championship. Never won a championship. Because he wasn't willing to work with the team to do what needed to be done. Great individual contributor, but didn't win. So you don't know how to sell? So maybe this is the wrong thing, but I'm saying, if somebody sells, if you're growing your team and somebody says to you, I don't like marketing, I'm very shy, I don't like selling, don't recruit them. You're asking fish to climb a tree. You're trying to make toast with a blender. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't hire that person. I used to be in software. We sold $1 million solutions. Somebody says to me, well, I'm really passionate about your technology solution, but I don't like marketing and selling. But like, okay, have a nice day. Get out of my office. You're the CEO. You're the VP sales of your business. So if you're in a marketing and sales distribution business, what do you need? You need marketing and sales pros who like to make money. Right? Would you hire a gardener to do your electrical work? No. If those people love the product, then they should stay customers. Right? They should stay customers. And us pouring in them saying, oh, let's do a meeting, let's do this. They're like, I don't want to talk to anyone. What happens is that we cling on to the people that want to spend time with us. But if they're not starving for economic success, they're going to anchor onto you and pull you down. This is hard, sounds hard and harsh. Okay? Ever go to the beach? See the lifeguard? When somebody's drowning and they swim out, there is a buoy, there is a life preserver between them and the person that's drowning. They say to the person, hold on to this thing and I'm going to swim us to shore. They never let the person grab onto them because they both might drown. Tough talk for Saturday afternoon, I know. If somebody is not starving for economic success, then they cannot be a part of your economic solution. Does that make sense? And you're not wrong to say, hey, listen, I'm only looking for people that want to improve their economic status, that are starving to improve their economic status. Okay, that's one end. The other end is somebody that's so incredibly past freedom that they have more than you, done more than you, have more than you, and they're doing something. That person has a conversation about purpose because they're way past freedom, right? Now you got to engage with them on a different level. But if you don't know purpose, you cannot sell purpose. We understand this? Only people with purpose can sell somebody else with purpose. It's hard to sell something you can't buy. It's hard to sell something you cannot buy because it's not genuine. It's not genuine. And the last person we want to dilute is ourselves. Understand? I know it sounds like class, right? But I hear this. I go, did you call your customers? No. Why? They might not like it. What? We have a money back guarantee. What do you care? How many of you ever bought something really nice from a really nice store, that's something you really wanted, and then they gave you an email, followed up, and called you to make sure how you were enjoying your product? You ever get that? How does that make you feel? Even if you weren't enjoying it as much as you thought, but they asked you how you were enjoying it, recommended how to use it better, you felt better, right? What do you think the person you sold the product to is any different? Same thing. Exact same thing. I'm so excited about this amazing patch and it's so changed the world. But once I sold it to you, I never call you back because you might not like it. Wow. That means you're not bought in yet, right? Your belief system isn't there yet. You're not really you're like kind of faking it till you make it. You're not bought in. Shipping is slow. I mean, these are all things that are not, my team doesn't listen. If your team's not listening to you, it's your fault. It's a lack of leadership. Lack of leadership. And leadership does not equal rank. Rank is just this thing that we made up to see where you are and how much you've accomplished. But leadership is a whole different thing. Anybody ever see the movie Saving Private Ryan? Remember Tom Hanks' character? At the end, they found out that he was a teacher. And how those people died for him, and he died for them. A leader's defining trait is the ability to inspire others to find the best version of themselves. That's leadership. But if I have not done the work for self-inspection to see what's the best version of myself, how can I help you find the best version of yourself? If I haven't done the work, the overwork, and gone through it and done the work, how can I possibly inspire anybody else to go to where I am at or where I'm not at? Right? It's about personal accountability and personal integrity. Right? It's out of stock. All these crazy things, it's expensive. So what's really happening here when we say these things to ourselves or we hear them? This is what's really happening. This is your brain trying to save you from being uncomfortable. We hear these things, we take them as fact. Why? Because our brain is looking for what? The opposite. We say, you know what, this is making me uncomfortable. Why? Because I'm being asked to do something that I don't want to do. It's creating thoughts that are fiction. And as soon as you give into these thoughts, as soon as you say, well, you know what, I don't really want to call somebody because I'm in fear of rejection. Well, they're not going to like or they're going to turn it back. So that's the thought that we created. And we buy into it and we don't call them. Our brain releases a chemical that makes us feel good. We're like, I don't have to call that person because, it was going to be returned anyways. And all of a sudden, it makes us feel better. Us not wanting to be uncomfortable gives us the drug that makes us feel better. So this is a cycle that's not new. We've had it forever. So we subconsciously make ourselves uncomfortable. Then your brain gives you thoughts that lets you off the hook and give you a hit of relief of those chemicals. So really, we're our own pusher and our own user. We create the need for that drug in our brain, that chemical in our brain, because of the uncomfortable situation our mind puts us in. Then we let ourselves off the hook, and then we feel better. Here's a test. How many of us have been relieved because something happened and we didn't have to do something that we were very uncomfortable doing? Yeah, see? That's a real manifestation. I'm so glad I didn't have to go on stage. I'm so glad I didn't have to call that person. I'm so glad I didn't have to do that, right? We've been there, done that. Oh man, that was going to be an uncomfortable conversation. I'm so glad I didn't have to do that. That's this. That's this real stuff happening every day in our lives and our hearts. Right? So what are you going to replace it with? You got to replace it with your personal why, your decision, your testimonial, how many people you've helped. All those things that the fear is rattling in your brain, you got to get to how you've helped people, all the things that are true. You got to replace the fear with facts. You got to know what the facts of your life are. You got to know the facts of the business you're representing. You need to know the facts of the success that we as a team, collectively, and you personally are having. That's your reality. Those are facts. Your testimonial is a fact. The company, what it's doing, is a fact. How many people you've helped is a fact. Your success to date, your team's success is a fact. The fact that the technology is globally protected is a fact. The fact it's one of a kind. There's no those are all facts. Anytime you're afraid of a fake fear, stick to the facts. We spent this morning talking about the facts. Those are the facts and the reality of what we're doing here. You're going to replace all your fears with those facts. Somebody says you some nonsense fear, say, no, that's not the case. We're doing all these amazing things. This is the reality of it. This is the reality of it. It's a $500 billion opportunity. The products are right for everyone. It's unlimited. What's right? It's unlimited what's right. So you got to replace all those fears with facts. You got to replace all the fears that you hear or you put for yourself and you hear from your team and you say, no. Those aren't real. You got to know anybody, so open up your phone. If there's only 5 people you could work with, who are those 5 people? All of a sudden they know somebody. Got to do it. And there's thousands of testimonials, right? There's no competition, there's no risk. Right? So here's the science of the mind, gang, and you're going to see this and you're like, oh my God, that's right. Our mind is divided, but it's not equal. There's the conscious mind. That's the iceberg above the water. And it processes about 2,000 bits of information per second. There's a subconscious mind that's below the water. That processes about 4 billion bits of information per second. So the conscious mind really has no chance against the subconscious mind. It's millions of times more powerful. And it's in control. So which mind is in charge? Subconscious mind. So here's your conscious mind. The conscious mind is a time machine. It's doing 2 things. 95% of the time, it's doing 2 things. It's regretting the past, or it's agonizing about the future. Isn't that our life? All the woulda, shoulda, couldas of my past and the maybes of tomorrow. The what ifs of tomorrow. We do it 95% of the time. We do it so much that we don't even remember the drive to work. Because we're thinking about what I'm going to do at the office, and this is going to happen. Last night, I got in a fight. Accept the now. Accept the moment. That's it. So all these programs that are running in our mind are actually running our life. And neither of these things can be consciously changed because they didn't develop consciously. Okay? Your subconscious programming did not develop consciously. You didn't think about it. And it's not focused on the present. So how do we function? So how do we make change? How do we get to the next level? How do we make a massive impact on our life that we can actually change our today so we can impact our tomorrow, right? Our subconscious mind is our life's autopilot, right? So the single most powerful thing is our subconscious mind is completely responsible for the life we have now, we had yesterday, and we will have tomorrow. And you have no conscious control of it. You cannot actually speak to it consciously. Weird. It's timeless. And it's running everything all the time. Always in the present. It's always there in the back of your mind, running. It's the autopilot that defines 90% of our life. It starts with perception, behavior, habits in our life today. Those three things made our life today. Our perception of the world, our perspective of the world, what we did with that perspective that became our habits is the life that we have today. Doesn't matter where you are in your life. How do we know this? How many times have we consciously tried to change our lives? Quit smoking, lose weight, get a new job, New Year resolutions. Who's done New Year resolutions? This is the year. Learn something new. I'm going to learn Italian this year. I'm going to call prospects. I'm going to book 3-way calls. I'm going to organize an online opportunity. This is it. I went to that meeting. Jay was amazing. I'm amped up. I'm going to do all these things. And they don't happen. Read self-help books. How many of you read a self-help book? How many of you still looking for help? Come on. I am. I read them all, I think. I read thousands of books. 10 seminars, positive affirmations, happy thoughts. Results? Why do these tactics only work 20% of the time? They only work 20% of the time. Only work 20% of the time. Because why? Because we're not talking to the subconscious mind. Because it doesn't speak English. Because if it spoke any one language, we'd be in a lot of trouble. So where do we get these programs from? We have to look at neurodevelopment because these programs start very young. We have to look at EEG studies, the vibrations of brain activity. So adults have very high and low ranges of activities. Children from the age of 0 to 6 are what we call pre-conscious. They're like an iPhone before you download all the apps. Right? They're like, I get the most beautiful granddaughter in the world. No apps. Just happy. Everything's amazing. Big smile on their face, crawls around, breaks stuff. It's great. That state of being is called the hypnagogic trance. This is clinical. And the brain waves are mostly delta and theta. It's a state of pure learning. It's almost like hypnosis. That's why kids up to the age of 6 can learn 3 languages at the same time. Nature's given children the brain activity to download immense amounts of information so they can fit in society and family and life and grow and expand. The Jesuits say, give us a child till the age of 6 and it will belong to the church for the rest of their life. Why? Programming. So that's what we got programmed. Every single one of us got programmed 0 to 6. All of it. And it's all happening below conscious thought. So what is the child's subconscious downloading into autopilot? Perspectives, beliefs, and behaviors. Where does it get this from? Parents, 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 siblings, teacher, the government, the priest, the school, the news, you name it. You name it. Programming. 0 to 6, it's parents, then the siblings, and then the teachers in grade 1 or kindergarten. And they're cooked. Understand how powerful this is? And these are the programs that will manifest their life. Limiting programs, or are we limitless? Are we going to let these programs define our tomorrow? Or are we going to decide to say, no? Are these programs going to be limiting, or are we going to choose to be limitless? That's in our hands. So how do we know? So what are these programs? So our life in the present is a manifestation of these programs. Adult life, so we have to audit our life. So we can tell which programs are running our life. We have to audit we have to look at our life, look at our behaviors, look at our perspectives and our beliefs, and we'll know what we've been programmed with, right? Just 3 easy steps. Identify and write down the things in your life that, number 1, give you joy, come easy to you, and you have in abundance. This would be so easy for everyone to do. But you know how many people struggle with this? Do you know how many people struggle with identify the things that give them joy, that come easy to them, or the things they have in abundance? You should be having these conversations with your team. So what's the thing that makes you the happiest in your life? What's the thing that's the easiest thing for you to do? What do you have the most of? What are you so great at? What's the thing that's you, that makes you, that defines you? What are the things that you're so great at? Number 1, asking about them in their life is the most powerful form of rapport building there is. If you care to do business with them, you should care to know what drives them. And you're getting to the core of who they are. You're getting like deep. When have you been successful at some time in your life? So what's the biggest success you ever had in business? Have you ever asked that to your team? What's the biggest success you've ever had as an entrepreneur or in business? Most people never ask. What's the most amount of money you've ever made doing this thing? We never ask. It's not polite. Don't you want to know where they are on their life journey so you can align yourself with that? Always express gratitude for these things, always. So these things that give us joy, that come easy to us, we have in abundance, and the things that we've been successful for, first things first, write them down in the present and positive. So you guys say, I'm grateful because my granddaughter gives me joy. I'm grateful that I have a family of 100,000 people across the world who've joined me in bringing this product and mission to the world. Grateful for that. I can't even put on a meter of pride how proud I am of that I've been able to find people who share a vision with me to do what I'm trying to do. You got to find examples of previous success. So what happens is we ruminate on the things that didn't work out and we bury the things that we did really well. We all have successes in our life, big or small. And whatever you focus on grows. Whatever you focus on means more for you and does more for you and builds you more. You focus on the challenges and the struggles and the failure, there's more coming. You focus on things that give you joy, that you've been successful at, that you have in abundance, that you're really great at, you love doing, there's more coming. Now, this is physics. I didn't make this stuff up. But it takes practice, right? To get rid of those things, those limiting beliefs that cause anxiety, takes practice. So what do you have to do? Overwork. We have to work on ourselves. Because who's going to do it for us? Yeah, nobody. No one's going to do it for us. So look at a day, a week, and find this positive thing or success and talk about it. Write it down. Go into the details of it, of what you did and what you felt and what you found. Could be a person, a place, a meeting, something you did, something you learned, something you achieved. We have examples of this. It doesn't matter what you've done or not done in your life. We all have examples of this in our life. What we don't do is write them down, catalog them, and then celebrate them and express gratitude for them. Look back on positive events in life. Replace that fear and reframe it. I've done this before, whatever that thing was, successfully. I can do it better with more practice. The thing about this is this takes practice. It takes practice, it takes work that you have to do. And you got to have a positive outcome looking for new opportunities and events, right? So the subconscious program is real simple. We're going to wrap it up on this. Identify and write down the things in your life. The opposite, this is what the subconscious programs are doing, is saying they never come easy to you, always struggled with, never last, never in abundance. Our subconscious is also manifesting these, because the more we ruminate on these, the more we stick on these, the more we stay on these, the more of these we get. They get amplified. They get amplified. I know we all have somebody in our life that every time we call them, we know it's going to be bad news on the phone. You know those people? That it's a crisis. 911. Jay, you won't believe what happened. I go, okay. 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 Those are short calls. I'm real busy. Call you later. Right? So if 90% of our present is controlled by these limiting beliefs, then we're stuck, right? So we have to reframe them. I've done this thing before successful, and I'm capable of doing it again with more practice. This is the thing with practice focus. We have to tell ourselves what that elevated version of ourselves is. I'm successfully doing this and worthy of the reward. So if we don't tell ourselves that, no one's going to tell us for ourselves. And know that the thing in your head that's telling you why you're not succeeding is not real. It's not real. It's just something you made up. Think about it. We all have this business we're working with called Super Patch. Everybody has the same product. Everybody pays the same for it. Everybody has access to the same website, the same program, the same everything, right? On one spectrum, we have people that are succeeding and doing things at an astronomical level. At the other end, we have people that are not. So is it that the opportunity is different, or what that person is doing is different? So if you like to cheat codes, do what the successful person is doing. That's the beautiful part of this thing. And it's all there to be had and learned and executed, but we have to apply it. We have to rewire for the positive, not the negative, right? So you got to use science to rewrite these, and you can do it easily and quickly. So the good thing is we're into neurotech. And studying how this wiring works, I spent 17 years on studying it. This is what you got to do. You got to use the science, right? So if you recall, the programming happens at 0 to 6. And the brain activity is delta and theta. This is the state where subconscious programming is written. This is the only state of mind where it can be rewritten. Let me say it again. To rewrite your programming, it was written in delta and theta mode mostly. It's got to be rewritten in delta and theta mode. It's not going to be written in alpha and beta. Conscious thinking is alpha beta. We got to get out of alpha beta. We got to get to delta theta. There's a few ways to do this. One of the ways is find true love. It's the most powerful state of mind there is. So when you find the person or thing you love, use that state of mind to use the positive affirmations in mindful meditation. right? This works until the person pisses you off, I think. Takes time, but there's programs that might prevent you from finding the person you love. Understand? Our subconscious program plays a big role in the people we commit ourselves to. So if they're in the way, then we might not find this person. We might not find the love of our life. We could try hypnosis. It works for bits. And you got to go back, but you need expertise. And they can help you do that. It requires time and resources and money. Works for a lot of people. It's pretty good. But you need to revisit it all the time. But your programs might prevent you from going to hypnotists because you have some fears about it. Or we can use our tech. So we can show in a clinical setting that we can enhance delta, theta, brain synchronization with VTT. You use the Liberty patch, the Joy patch, the Peace patch, and the Kick It patch, and you see delta and theta waves surge. You see them surge. Yeah, really. I'm making it up in front of the stage. I'm just talking, nonsense. But you gotta stop the program. So how do you stop the other programs from going? You gotta reset it. You gotta do a Control-Alt-Delete for your brain synchronicity. And the Control-Alt-Delete for brain synchronicity is write your name backwards. It does something neurologically to your mind that it resets it and stops it. Wait 15 minutes, face forward, eyes down, and repeat your positive affirmations. We can show with EEG readings, delta, theta, surging in 15 minutes with those patches on. So this is like the pre-workout to the meditation. It works. It works great. If you're already a practicer of meditation, you can amp it up, right? And then there's gratitude. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Do this daily. Take the time. It becomes a habit. The universe will respond. And it's not just mindset. Your actual health responds by gratitude. Clinical tests constantly show cortisol goes by 23% if you actually practice gratitude. Just saying, I'm grateful for this and this and this and this, the cortisol comes down. Increases happiness, reduces fear and depression. Think about that. Our mindset is having a physical manifestation of the quality of our life. And we're going to end it with this. All this positive stuff is always challenged by the dark side. What is this? There's a scary looking person here in the video, in the picture. This is signs of the enemy. I mean negative people. You have to proactively remove these people from your life. These are people, they always worry. They try to tell you what to do. They live in default position, meaning, oh, that's not going to work. They love secrets. Don't tell anybody. Pessimists. They cannot limit their exposure to bad news. You know, there's people that just love sharing bad news. It's like they have their Google feed is bad news of the world. And they send it to everybody else. They have thin skin, they get offended by everything. They complain a lot. They never move outside their comfort zone. They love the word but. They're underachievers. They never get excited about future projects. They become energy vampires. They miss out on the good things of life. And they put a negative spin on good news. You need to identify them and remove them from your life. And sometimes you're related to them. So you have to limit your exposure. I'm telling you. It's up to you. Listen, you can do whatever you want. I'm just telling you how this works. Because if you don't, your mindset, your coachability, and your dream is at risk. Just telling you. If there's people in your life, on your team, doing these things to you and saying these things to you and living this way around you, you're deciding to let that happen. Up to you. And if you can implement these little things about where you are in your life, survival, status, freedom, on your way to purpose, and you're willing to commit to the overwork and make the changes, you can identify the things you need to be grateful for, and you start implementing that routine of gratitude, and you cut out the dark side, I'm telling you as your friend, your life changes. Your economic status changes. Your economic trajectory changes. Everything about you, your attitude will change, your physiology will change, your smile will change, everything will change. But you have to do the do. You have to decide, and then you have to take action. So at the very beginning, we talked about where are you on your journey? Survival, status, freedom, purpose. You have to be honest with yourself where you are and commit to the work that needs to be done to get to the next level. And don't look at levels, freedom and purpose if you're status or you're in survival. That's not realistic. There's no game plan there. I can't help you with that. But we have a program, we have a business, we have an opportunity that can help you through every stage, from one stage to the next, from that stage to the next. But it takes your active participation in your desire to achieve your dream. And it's all different. But our boat, the ark we've built, this thing called Super Patch, I'm absolutely confident can align with anyone's dream and anyone's hope. We can help you get there, wherever you want to get. How you get there and how fast you get there, that's between you and what you believe. So gang, I'm going to wrap it up with that. We're going to continue this on a Zoom call probably a little bit later. I think it's 5 o'clock. Almost 5 o'clock. I'll wrap up with this. Anybody's ever told you that being wealthy is for other people? And you believe them? Did more harm to you than you can probably imagine. If anyone tells you that you're not supposed to have everything, every joy, every happiness, everything for yourself and your family, anyone that tells you that is not your friend. And they don't have your best interests at heart. I don't care who they are. Whether your parents, your kids, your spouse, I don't care. I don't want to cause marital problems, but if you have somebody that's telling you that it's not for you, you're letting their pre-programming influence your programming. You're letting their half-emptiness take the joy out of your life. You don't need to be a super genius. You don't need to come from anything at all. You're enough. The fact that you exist, you're enough for all the abundance that can come your way. You're enough. There's no other version of you. You're it. You just got to tune in to receive. You got to tune in the station to say, I am worthy, I deserve it. And why do you deserve it? Because you exist. You have to expand. The whole universe is expanding at faster than the speed of light. Trees are growing. Stars are forming. Why are you contracting? Align with the universe. The universe is expanding. You deserve to expand. You're destined. You're built to expand. So all this stuff holding you back, don't let it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today. I appreciate your time, your love, your respect. Let's go. Let's go get it done. Have a wonderful